Kia ora, I'm Erin J. Doyle. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing the Writers Are Weird tag, which I saw on Michael T. Christensen's, yes, double checking the name, YouTube channel. I will leave a link. Without further ado, let's just get into the questions because I have nothing else to say this week. Okay, question 1. Do you have bizarre internet searches? If so, what's the weirdest one? Okay, so I think my writing related internet searches to date have been fairly straightforward. My work related searches are probably actually much worse because sometimes things that are totally legitimate scientific internet searches sound dodgy as hell. So I've got a list of species that I've been looking at for a research project, and they're just listed by their binomial or Latin name. So basically the name tells you nothing unless you speak Latin or if you just recognize it. And so quite often I'll look at a species and just the name, and I'll be like, I can't remember what that is. So I'll just throw it into Google Images, see what comes up, and I'm like, oh yeah, okay, it's that beetle that had the spots, cool. Carry on with life. Unfortunately, one of the earwig species in my dataset is known as Labia minor. And it has taken me over a year to learn never to put Labia minor into the Google search thing at work. I've learned this the hard way. So anyway, the point is, for writing, I don't think my internet searches are too weird. Question 2. Do you write people you know and dislike into your story as villains or dumb people to kill off? No, but I do notice that unintentionally my villains or antagonistic characters tend to have names of people that have crossed me or family members. And then I quite often go, oh, hang on a second, that's a bit obvious, and change it later on. So I think for me it's not a conscious decision to write someone I don't like into a story and then kill them, but I think subconsciously people I don't like are influencing my villains and occasionally their names slip in there. But it's never describing them on purpose. Question 3. Does personal hygiene sometimes come second to writing? No. I actually find stopping writing and going and having a shower, putting on clean clothes, brushing your teeth, obviously all depending on time of day and what I've been doing, but those kinds of things I find very refreshing, and they're a good way to kind of take a little break in which I'm being productive and not getting distracted by my phone or anything, and that sort of lets me rest and refresh and go back to the writing much more comfortable and happy. So I think actually writing, it probably has overall very limited impact on hygiene, but if there is an impact it's probably more towards improved hygiene. Question 4. Do you go on baby name websites to help you name your characters? Occasionally, but usually if I'm doing that, it's not to get a name, it's to get a very specific name, like a common name for a specific region. Question 5. Do you have a list of actors and actresses that would play your characters if there was an adaptation made? No, I don't think about my books being made into movies at all. Question 6. Have you ever stared at a stranger because they look like one of your characters? No. I generally don't notice people's facial features in general, so I actually don't have specific, this is what my character specifically looks like facial features wise. Anyway, I just have a general idea of kind of skin tone, hair type, eye colour. Like if they've got like a particularly striking nose or something like that, then that might be in my head, but I don't have like a perfect idea of what they look like. Question 7. Do you talk to yourself to help work through scenes? If so, where do you talk to yourself? I used to talk to myself a lot, both while I was sitting at my computer and while I was driving, but these days I don't drive anymore. I actually haven't had a car in over a year, I live in a big city, there's just not a point in having one anymore. Public transport gets me where I need to go. And I don't know why I don't do it when I'm actually sitting at my computer anymore. I just seem to have gotten out of the habit. What I do is read stuff out loud to myself many times over, but I don't talk to myself while I'm actually working through it initially. Question 8. While writing, do you make the expressions your characters are making? Yes. I don't do it on purpose, but I catch myself doing it all the time. I also do it when I'm kind of thinking about it, not talking to myself, but just kind of thinking through scenes and dialogue and that kind of thing, just when I'm out for walks or hiking. And yes, I've had people comment. I don't appreciate it. I might be being weird, but I still don't need it pointed out. Okay, question 9. Do you ever practice answering interview questions in case you make it big? I don't think so. I think because I don't know what questions I would be asked. And finally, question 10. Do you have a soundtrack and/or playlist for your book or scenes from your book? So the short answer is no, but occasionally I'll come across a song that just kind of resonates with me and really connects with that story in some way, just like the feel of the song is the same as the feel of the story in my head. But that doesn't mean that I'll then listen to that song while I'm writing it. For example, in November when I was working on my NaNoWriMo project, there was a particular song, what's it called? I think it's just called Major Tom. I'll leave it in the description because that might not be the title at all. That song really resonated with me, and it was kind of like the song that really just felt the same as the story I was writing. But while I was writing, I was listening to techno. That's it for the tag. It's also it for the quiet period of my afternoon when the businesses across the street are not clanging very loudly, so I'm going to bring the video to a close here. If you enjoyed this video and you also have a YouTube channel, perhaps do the tag. It's a nice way to fill in a time slot when you don't have anything to talk about. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like. If you haven't already, hit subscribe. These things help my channel out a lot, and I'll see you next week. Bye! I feel like I'm waving this arm around a lot, perhaps I'll sit on my hand.